Welcome back to another episode of Goonery. Very, very, very exciting week here. Brandon and the Wolverines are headed to the national championship. Some crazy times ahead for the Chicago Bears. He's back. The Rock is back. He's home. And I'm wearing your second released hat. It's been a huge week for you.
I mean, let's get. I mean, we have to show the real happiness that's going on, because you did mention on the show, if you are a follower of us, that I was going to have one hat created, but we have not updated, and there has been a second hat that's created. One that's on Ben's head, one that's in my hand, and this one might be in stores soon. Don't sleep, because this one, I don't know, I haven't told you this. This one's almost gone on the website. So don't sleep on this, man.
Goddamn.
You want a stylish hat? You want an everyday wear? I mean, come on now. Come
I
on.
mean, hey, for anyone listening to this on the fence, I'm in Chicago, and I had someone coming up to me this past weekend when I was at the store asking where I got that Cardinals hat. You're you,
Yeah,
you're
man.
you're not finding that many places in Chicago, so you know it's well done when people are asking.
And that's the greatest compliment of them. For someone in Illinois, because I've been to Chicago. I've gotten dirty looks for wearing Cardinal stuff. Because
Hmm.
just for the fact that someone stopped you to say that, greatest compliment to me of them all.
And you know what's crazy? I'll probably get even more dirty looks for wearing this hat than the Cardinals hat.
You know what? If they do, shame on them. You're in Chicago. Stop the nonsense.
Amen to that. But yeah, Brandon, we're all happy for you. Things are really seemingly taking off for you, and I can't wait to keep following along.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
But we have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about this week
Oh
besides
yeah.
that. Brandon, they did it. They're headed to the national championship. They took down Nick Saban. They took down Alabama, and they're going to be they are the favorites. They are favored in Vegas right now to win the national championship. And Brandon, I just want to give the floor to you. Give us your Michigan Manifesto, a la Connor Stallions.
All right. So first of all, I want to take y'all through the experience of watching the game. So because I mean, the angst of starting the new year off with something like this, it's like, damn, am I going to be
Mm-hmm.
happy and drink or sad and drink? There's a big difference. So, you know, normally I would watch it by myself. I watched it with my girlfriend's family. They were a delight to watch it with. But, you know, there was a point in the game where two things went through my mind, and it happened in each half. In the first half, I said, man, we should be blowing these dudes out. We should be blowing them out
Yeah.
because, truth be told, Alabama in the first half did not belong on the same field as Michigan. And the
No.
only reason why they were on the same field as Michigan is because Michigan allowed it, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pleasing feeling to know that we went into the half 13-10. And then the second half came, and if you have been following Michigan for as long as I have, that second half, especially that fourth quarter, to where before that last drive where JJ McCarthy took him down for a touchdown, you said this is exactly what Michigan has done every single time
Mm-hmm.
they have gotten to a bowl game. And in the past 2 years, they've gotten to the playoffs and they have completely folded. And that thought instantly went into my mind. The ineffectiveness just throwing the football, the ineffectiveness running the football, the offense was abysmal in the third quarter. There was a lot for them to overcome. But I mean, the defense was simply out of this world good against that Alabama
Yep.
offense, which, by the way, was the same offense that took down Georgia, which people seem to forget. So that's one thing that we should keep in mind when we're going to break down Michigan and Washington. But this game was so pleasing because, number one, you always want to win in the Rose Bowl just for just seeing the aesthetics and just knowing your team is there. It's beautiful. I mean, that's the, in my opinion, that is the greatest United States stadium, point blank, period.
Yep.
I'll put them against anybody.
When I'm not even joking you, when you think of American sports, I think the Rose Bowl is the perfect encapsulation of America. It's just there's something
Absolutely.
And you see the same tweets, the same articles every year. How can you not be romantic about the Rose Bowl? Well, guess what? You see that sunset hit start of the fourth quarter every goddamn year. And you just wonder, why can't you? I mean, this is a completely different topic. Why can't UCLA fill that? Like, even with just visitors. Because I'll tell you what, UCLA moving in the Big Ten, I don't know if I don't have Rose Bowl money, but I can have money to go out to a Big Ten game at UCLA now.
I mean, depending on who you're playing, because if they
Yeah.
okay, let's just say they play Illinois, you get a good seat, and that's a shame. That's genuinely a shame because listen, I know UCLA is the little brother in California,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But to not fill the Rose Bowl is a crime. But I will say this: I know we have these big stadiums now with Las Vegas and Los Angeles with SoFi and all that. But if you ask me, for college football's sakes, it's just the number that Michigan and Alabama did for the name of the Rose Bowl being as the game that they're playing in.
Mm-hmm.
I want a reason why the Rose Bowl is not the national championship game every single season.
It
It's
doesn't.
literally the perfect game, and I get it. Of course, it always comes back to that.
Everything
always comes back to that. But in my opinion, just the pageantry. Because listen, as people who are college football purists, you care about pageantry. There is no bigger pageantry than watching a Rose Bowl game, plain blank, period. But back to the game. That game was the perfect encapsulation of the Michigan season, because no matter what, you can be a person like me that's naturally a pessimist. You see how the fourth quarter went and say it was a fun season. We are done. And you could have said that after the Connor Stallion situation, the sign stealing. You could have said one of these teams, whether it be Penn State, Ohio State, or Maryland, or to a lesser degree, Iowa, they were going to lose those games because of all of the distractions. But every single way, they have fought back and have just shut everybody up, no matter what is the asterisk that people are trying to put on Michigan's season. This team is different. No matter if they win or lose to Washington, this team was always different from the start. And one thing that everybody said, and I said the same thing, this is the best opportunity for Michigan to win a national championship this year. And not for nothing, they've showed that. They've shown this team is different. And you can make the argument that last year the team was better. They looked past TCU because they wanted to play Georgia. But this time around, this team has laser focus on each and every opponent week by week by week. And that, to me, has been the difference this season. And I feel like I came out the womb a Michigan fan. I've seen great seasons the past 2 seasons for Michigan, but no matter what the result is, I've never had more fun as a Michigan fan. Never in my life.
I believe it. I believe
this season's been beautiful.
It's, there's something, as I'll say, a fairly neutral viewer. Obviously, growing up, Michigan fans all throughout my family. I don't have any issues with Michigan. To be honest, I like Michigan.
Right.
And there was not a doubt in my mind going into that fourth quarter that they were going to win that game. I know that they had a very shitty third quarter. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
But just watching this team all year, I know you could say, oh, well, was their defense really tested all year? They were playing against Big Ten teams. I mean, their non-conference schedule was a bunch of nobodies. All valid arguments. But guess what? When you play at the dominant level that they did, I don't care. It's still the Big Ten. People can run the football down your throat every single fucking week. And I don't want to, because Alabama wasn't their first real test. They beat Ohio State. They beat, I mean, they beat all of these top 10, top 15 teams throughout the year. And there's just a different energy to this team. And I mean, you could go on and on about the defense. I think what impressed me the most, I know that this ended up coming back. JJ McCarthy throwing what was an interception called back on the first play of the game from scrimmage. and not losing his poise.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I understand it was called back. JJ McCarthy last year would have been rattled,
Oh
and
yeah.
and I don't know what Harbaugh said into his ear on the sideline at that point in time, but it was impressive. His performance was impressive. That's the best defense he's played all year. One of the best defenses he's played all year. Let me take that back. And arguably, probably the best, most impressed I've been by him all year.
I mean, because if let's look back at the past couple of games. This guy, he's been hot and cold ever since Harbaugh was
Mm-hmm.
suspended and he came back. Because if you look at the Iowa game, it's easy to look at the Iowa game and say, man, if JJ McCarthy plays like that, we're in trouble. But if we got to use context, because the receivers didn't show up, that to me was my biggest concern, because the receivers, to me, what makes it more impressive about what JJ has done is the fact that his receiving core is not elite by any stretch.
No.
Roman Wilson is a good receiver. Colston Loveland is going to be probably a top 15 pick when he comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But you go down the list. Cornelius Johnson's a fine player. Tyler Morris, he didn't catch a touchdown this entire season up until the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And then Samaj Morgan, he had some oopsies in that game. So he's had to trust some guys and to make some plays. And granted, they did. That was the most beautiful part about it. They made plays. So when everybody looks at JJ McCarthy, they call him JJ McCarthy, but that's coming from a certain portion of the of fan bases that happen to be in the Big Ten. But
And
one
from
thing
a
that
state that
is
begins with O.
OMS, PS, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple of them. But one thing is for sure is that dude, he may look like he looks like the kid in a sitcom that everybody goes to, and then they find out he's a bad guy. But he can really play some damn football. That's and my favorite quote I always go back to when I see him make plays. 5-star going 5-star.
Yep.
And I don't care what the result is on Monday. JJ McCarthy, to me, is the greatest Michigan quarterback of all time. I'm ready to make that proclamation. There is nobody that's been more talented than him. Nobody has done what JJ McCarthy has done.
Natural talent, I think I would agree with you. I think if he wins the national championship here on Monday, I think it's signed, sealed, and closed book. And it's going to be further cemented when he comes back again next year.
Absolutely. Okay. And one thing I will say, I hope he does not declare this year, because there's a lot of money to be made if he comes back and goes in.
I'll be honest. If the NFL draft, if guys were able to do what they do similar in the NBA, where they can go test the waters, go to the combine, and come back, as long as they don't hire an agent, I think that's the route JJ would take this year. But I just think it's too stacked of a quarterback class this year for him draft wise. And if he comes back as another strong senior season, which I don't see him not having a strong senior season.
Right.
He'll be a first round pick. He will be a first round pick next year. So it's going to be interesting. So, I mean, Brandon, coming up, we're half a week away now. On this podcast, we've said pretty consistently throughout the year the two best teams in college football.
Yeah.
People called us crazy for saying that Washington was this good, that they're a fluke. I'm really, really intrigued by this matchup. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see how Michigan slows down Washington's receiving core.
And one thing that people seem to kind of discount, because I'm a realist at the end of the day. I'm a Michigan fan. I also can be confused as a pessimist. But one thing is for certain is that Washington is absolutely legit. They are a legitimately scary opponent. I was telling my family that I want Texas, because dealing with that speed of Washington is different.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington exposed Texas because Texas has a very good defense. They ran them off the field. So Michigan is going to face their biggest test. But the thing is, what makes me confident is that they know that. They know the speed that they're up against.
Yeah.
They know, because literally, let's use this example, which I hope this is the result. Michigan and Washington is literally the Ravens versus the Dolphins. Like literally that matchup.
No, I mean it is that's a fair comparison, I would say.
Because you got speed on Miami, you got a defense that literally Michigan runs from Mike McDonald to Jesse Minter. It's literally the same thing. I'm just hoping that Jesse Minter has the game plan to slow these guys down because they're going to chuck it around the yard. They have to be prepared for this. They have not seen a passing attack like this the entire season. And I got to tell you, I know Michael Penix is one of those guys that I know for myself, I said I'm not sure about him as a prospect. But one thing I will say is this. There's some throws that he makes, and he just like, that is undeniable. It's undeniable.
He may have the prettiest deep ball I've ever seen, and I don't feel that crazy saying that anymore. And I've always thought he's thrown a good deep ball, like since his Indiana days. I mean, against Texas, it was just different. He was just dropping every single throw into a bucket, and it was incredible to watch. And it was just, I don't actually know what. No, I do think he should have won the Heisman. And I've watched a lot of Washington football this year, not trying to discount the season that Jaden Daniels had because it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I understand it's a team sport and Jaden Daniels can't do it all. But end of the day, I think historically, at least, the Heisman voters have valued the fact that it's going to go to a guy who's on a better team. And I know Washington has as good of receivers as they do. I don't think that they're undefeated in the national championship. Michael Penix isn't their quarterback.
Oh, 1%.
So I also had a theory about Michael Penix. I would not be surprised. I know this is half joking. He was cloned because this is not the same quarterback we saw at Indiana.
I see this all the time. It's just insane the jump he makes.
So I had a few friends from high school play football at Indiana with Penix. I was talking to one of them 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was, and he said that Penix looked like this in practice every single day. End of the day, it was just the Indiana coaching staff, and that's why so many goddamn guys ended up leaving and transferring. And none of us believed him when he was at Indiana because we would all just dump on him. Oh my God, dude, Penix sucks. Like he's not good. He just was not that good at Indiana.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. He has gone from last year I doubted him. I'm like, oh my God, people are really hyping up Michael Penix to Washington. I mean, I'm like,
yeah,
they know who we're watching here. Well, guess what? He just led them to a national championship. And the turnaround that program has done in a matter of 3 years, remarkable.
I mean, Kalen DeBoer, I never even heard of him before he went to Washington.
Me either.
I mean, the talent that he has developed, inherited, all that. I mean, all credit to him. He has been absolutely incredible for this team. And listen, I'm just saying, if there's a scenario, which I think is a very likely scenario, that Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan, they better be calling his phone.
I would be
offer as much money as possible.
I would be shocked if he wasn't one of the first 2 or 3 calls. Shocked.
Oh yeah,
genuinely.
As long as it's not Brian Kelly.
No,
don't call him.
They're building a family down there in Baton Rouge. Remember?
Family, you mean?
So I mean, Brandon, I mean, you kind of alluded to it with Harbaugh. You think this is going to be Harbaugh's last game, win or lose, or if it's a win, he's out. Lose, he stays. What are you thinking?
I am leaning to that he's done after this, no matter what the result is. It's a foregone conclusion if they win. I think he'll drag it along if they lose.
I think that's a correct assessment, I would say. And I have moved past him coming to the Bears. I don't think that that's even remotely possible. Not even because of Eberflus. He wants control. He wants control.
Right.
He's going to be the LA Chargers head coach. That's exactly what's going to happen.
You got a GM spot open. You got a head coach's spot open. I mean, same thing with the Raiders too. I mean, Raiders are definitely going to be something that they're going to explore.
But the Raiders also don't have Justin Herbert. That's the thing there.
But
like Herbert,
the Raiders could have JJ McCarthy too if they pair him up with Jim. I'm just saying. Depends on what Jim Harbaugh wants.
Yeah, no, you're right. A lot of mental gymnastics going on amongst a lot of NFL teams right now, figuring out if they want the headache. Because let's be honest, it will be a headache in the NFL. Wherever he goes, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. He wins everywhere he goes. It's just a matter of if you're willing to give him what he wants. And
yeah.
I don't know. Do you buy into the report that Michigan supposedly gave him like a 10-year, $125 million extension offer, and it was only valid if he did not leave for the NFL after this year?
Honestly, yes, I do. Only because, even as a fan, because we had this conversation last year. What did I say last year? I said that if he's going to keep flirting with the NFL, he can leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think that not only am I tired of it, I think Michigan is tired of it too. So they want to make sure that, hey, are you going to stick around? Are you not? Okay, let's make a decision.
I agree with that, and I disagree at the same time because, yeah, they're sick of it, but they're on the cusp of a national championship.
That's also true.
It's just I don't know. I don't know. He really did bring that program back out of the gutter from where it was, and I know there was.
Oh man, listen.
I know there was a rough couple of years still when he. But still, he is finally over. He got over that hump. What, 3 years ago now? I would say he finally got over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just.
And if you were someone who followed Michigan from 2008 to 2014,
there's some
you were in the trenches. You was in the ghetto. Okay.
Well, Rich Rod and Brady Hoke action.
And the crazy thing is, it's sad because 2011 was a glorious season, man. But what happened after that? 2014 was a disaster. It was an absolute unmitigated disaster. And listen, if you lived it, talk as much shit as you want. I don't care what these people have to say. I don't care if people go to say, hey, you still got one more game to go. We understand that. Mm-hmm. But people do not remember how bad it was for us just the last decade. People they don't get it.
It's never. I'm just thinking back to Devin Gardner at quarterback, man.
It was fun until it wasn't. That's the best way I got to say it.
Good old 98 under center.
Oh man, I mean, who in the hell thought that was a good idea? Honestly, but no disrespect to Tom Harmon, but come on, what are we doing?
But with that being said, Brandon, I think I know who you're riding with on Monday. But before we move on to the Bears, what's your final score prediction for Monday night?
Listen, man, you know me.
I know what you're gonna say.
You know me.
I know you're riding with the Huskies.
I am making no prediction. The Huskies not gonna win. The Wolverines are not gonna win. I am making no prediction.
Everyone's gonna have fun. How about that prediction?
Everyone's gonna have fun. There's gonna be a lot of deep balls going, and Blake Corum's gonna score a touchdown. That's my prediction. Blake Corum's gonna score a touchdown.
There you go. I'll lock that one in on DraftKings. Blake Corum's gonna score a touchdown, and everyone will have fun.
Easy money every single
Every single
time.
week. What did he score this past week? His 26th rushing touchdown of the season?
He was either 25 or 26, but yeah.
Regardless.
26 in total, actually. Yes, because he got the receiver.
Yeah, insane. Insane. Blake Corum is going to be special for 3 years.
By the way, before we move on, I want to boldly state Blake Corum is my favorite Michigan player of all time.
Wow.
I've seen Mike Hart. I've seen Mario Manningham. I've seen Denard Robinson, who, by the way, is number 2.
I was going to say, I thought you were a Shoelace guy. I mean, Shoelace he's my favorite college player I've ever watched.
I swore by him for years. I always will swear by him. No one has been better than Blake Corum, at least in my eyes. The impact he has had on Michigan.
I agree with you, man. It's wildly impressive. The consistency he's been able to have, the comeback after the injury. I mean, it's been awesome to watch, and it sucks to me too, because he just strikes me as a guy who will not have a very long NFL career just because of all the mileage he has on him.
Yeah,
which sucks, but God damn, is he going to be a legend in Ann Arbor? He'll never pay for a meal or buy himself a drink in that state ever again.
That's a fact.
But with that being said, we have quite the conundrum going on in Chicago right now, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, it seems like we've been in the media spotlight all season, regardless of how bad the Bears have been. The Bears are seemingly the hottest team in all of football, other than the Ravens, which is crazy to say. Mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but have officially locked up the #1 overall pick via the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if I've ever seen as much discourse regarding a team's quarterback situation than the Bears since Sunday. Consistently, from all media outlets, every city, every state, every region, every national syndication. It's blowing my mind.
And it's actually a testament to how far the Bears have come since week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that there is no denying, because it's easy to say the Bears suck. But do you watch the games? Have you seen what they've been doing to opponents? Are you seeing if they're one play away from, being up on the win column? People are noticing. They're starting to take note of this stuff. So this Sunday has so many implications. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you could call it the Bears Super Bowl. Let's call it what it is. I don't give a damn if the Packers are 9-8 or wherever they are. 8-8. I don't care. This is the biggest game of the season for the Chicago Bears. This is the Super Bowl. And the fact of the matter is, even though it is a Super Bowl, there is a job on the line, or jobs
on the
line.
I think jobs is the better way to look at.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. And despite the report, because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just on the topic of jobs on the line, I think there's one for sure job that is not on the line, and that is Luke Getsy's. I think he is gone regardless.
Done. He's done.
There's no situation, one, that he deserves to come back, two, where there's any, and there's no even excuse or argument you can make that he deserves another shot or another year. It's been miserable. I saw a tweet earlier today, little preview later on, once in a lifetime, the John Cena rock montage video for WrestleMania. Once in a lifetime, Luke Getsy versus Joe Barry this week.
Hey, I mean, yeah, much maligned coordinators, which crazy to think about. But Justin Fields is absolutely playing for his job on Sunday. And regardless of what has happened in the past couple of games, which is undeniable that he has improved, he looks comfortable, and you can put that Cleveland game as an asterisk because, context matters. I don't care if you win 19 for 40, context matters. The receivers let him down and whatnot. But just thinking about everything he's gone through this year, the tribulations of calling out coaches and struggling on offense mightily. And fact of the matter is, he's improved despite everything that's been against him. Listen, we have no proof that Luke Getsy has sabotaged him. We have no proof.
The improvement has been so drastic that there was calls earlier this year before he even saw the field that Tyson Bagent should be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears, an undrafted Division II rookie. I know that they didn't come from this show. I know they didn't come from here. But
listen,
even
Chris Collins was saying that.
That was the worst smear campaign I think I've ever seen. The fact that was on Bagent, it was Bagent Zero, I think was the headline that the Sun Times put on the cover of the the Monday Morning Sports. It's like, are you
what are we doing? What do we not realize we have in front of us? Fact of the matter is this: we have no proof that Luke Getsy has decided to sabotage Justin Fields. But damn it, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. You know what? It's not. It's not a damn goose. Okay, so I'm going to be locked into this game just off the fact I need to see if the Chicago Bears are going to be in this game. If this is the typical performance that we see at Green Bay, we have to have a conversation, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, this is the league that we're in, especially if you're a Bears fan. We can talk about how great he looked against Atlanta, but Atlanta compared to Green Bay is different. It's much different. There's a lot of things on the line when you talk about Green Bay, no matter what the record book says. It's different. And this defense is going to get put to the test, because I hate to say it, but Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback of the Packers. Unfortunately, his building block is so it's so perfectly built, because not only is he young, his receiver core is young and ascending too. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And literally, that's what the Lions have too. Look where the Lions are at right now. So literally, this game right here, which is ironic if you really think about it, and this is like a really franchise changing win if they can pull this off. Think about it. What propelled the Lions to be favorites after last season?
Bingo.
They went into Lambeau, they beat the Packers, and everybody said,
going to make the exact same point, Brandon.
Yeah, man.
It's there's just so much riding on this week. I know that the Bears are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I know this is going to be the Bears' last game for 200 however many days. I don't care. I am getting up this Sunday like it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
And, you could say Bears fans are the little brother in this rivalry. Yeah, historically speaking.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. If the Bears can play spoiler to the Packers making the playoffs, that's making my month, probably, unfortunately.
Listen. That may be what people could consider a loser's mentality. I tell those people to go scratch. I don't care.
You know what I say to that? I am a loser, and I cheer for losing sports organizations. So yeah, I do have a loser's mentality, and guess what? I don't deny it. I don't deny it. I just, there's so much riding on this, because I've gotten to the point where I think I will be emotionally damaged if Justin Fields is not the quarterback of the Bears next year. And I understand that. I'll say this. I don't want it to be because he has a shitty performance in Lambeau last week of the season. If Ryan Poles genuinely evaluates this offseason and says, you know what, I think it's the best interest of this franchise that we move on from Justin. We trade him. We acquire draft picks. He's going to be great wherever he goes. We know that. I mean, it's been inevitable. This is not like Mitch, what happened with Mitch. This is the most talented quarterback the Chicago Bears have ever had. Say what you want. He does things on the field that there are 31 other starting quarterbacks in the NFL who cannot do some of the things he does. And I don't want it to be for performance, man. I understand that it's a roller coaster with him. He'll have 3 really, really great weeks in a row, followed up by 2 or 3 just abysmal performances passing the football.
So I want to make this.
It's just like the noticeable improvements throughout this year. It's been pretty consistently trending upward since he's come back from injury. And I think that's where you begin your evaluation is after he's come back from injury on this season.
I wanted to make this point last week because I feel as though that we give different barometers to certain players, to certain quarterbacks. Tell me this. Has there been one quarterback this season that has played at an elite level all 17 games they have played?
No.
You can't name one. When Tom Brady said it, everybody was like, yeah, he's right. But then you have to really dig deep. Look at the elite quarterbacks this year. Patrick Mahomes has a season high in interceptions. Josh Allen has played like an idiot sometimes this season.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Burrow got hurt. He wasn't all the way great before he got hurt.
He also was never healthy this season once.
That's a fair point.
I'm giving him a pass on this year.
Fair point. Lamar Jackson has looked great at times. Sometimes he looked bad. But my biggest point in all of this is this. Fact of the matter is, we are in a world where if you have the elite tag over your name in terms of being a quarterback, we expect you to play great every week. That's not plausible. That's not plausible thinking. That is fantasy thinking. If we're really being honest, there is no quarterback that week after week after week is going to put up the same numbers and have elite play. It hasn't happened this season. And truth be told, I won't be surprised if that's the trend going forward. So whenever we talk about how Justin Fields has this numbers or that numbers, I'm just like, okay, let's lay the whole thing out. What has he done throughout the entire season? Was the first part of the season pretty? Absolutely not. We had legitimate questions on whether he should be the quarterback after the season because of those couple of weeks. But then the ascending continued to happen. And low key, the MVP of the league kind of had that same thing. Because Lamar Jackson had weeks where he wasn't great, but he ascended, and look where he was. Brock Purdy, same thing. He was in the MVP conversation for some time because he was ascending until he did it. So my point is this. If you feel like you can replace starter-level quarterback play, sure. You better be prepared to face the consequences if you do, though.
Yeah. I can't believe this season is come and gone, and it seems that almost all Bear fans are on the "we want Justin Fields" train, and that's not somewhere I ever thought we were going to be. I never thought in a million years that we would hear Soldier Field chanting "We want Justin," and I'm at the point I think there will be a mutiny if Ryan Poles decides to move on from Justin Fields. And that's in terms of fans. That's in terms of the locker room, because guess what? They don't have to keep saying this, every single player in the locker room. And something tells me DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison want Justin Fields to be their quarterback. If Instagram comments and Twitter likes tell me anything.
You see, here's the difference between people who troll on Twitter and that guys who actually play on the field. One knows, one wants narratives.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell which one is which. So when you talk about players that play the game, they see what we see in Justin Fields, but what they also see is the situation that Justin Fields has been put in. That's why when I say when I hear people talking about, oh, well, they've never done right by him, so we got to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Now, what bugs me about that comment is when you pick number one in the draft, or maybe you pick in the top 10. If you didn't trade for that pick, you're in the top 10 for a reason, which means that you are a quarterback away, or you need a quarterback to maybe kickstart some things around the franchise. So one thing that's bothersome to me is that you get these guys into a situation that they get picked number one to a team that was number one for a reason, and we expect them to be great. I'm sorry. If you see a guy that is playing in spite of situations, that matters. That matters. You can talk about how bad the situation has been this year, and to the offensive coordinator and a number two receiver behind DJ Moore. You can talk about all of that. But the fact of the matter is, he's still ascending. Yeah. So, I know these people that are in these football rooms, they know football. They're there for a reason. No matter how many times we want to say, like, yo, this person made a stupid decision. They're there for a reason. So you have to keep. So I know they keep it in mind that, hey, man, listen, we haven't really put them in a great situation, but we're in a position where we could be the next year's Lions. We can finish the season 8-9 and build our team even more through draft, free agency. Because let me tell you something. At this point, Ryan Poles has hit on free agency in the draft. You keep that going if you are in that front office.
I'll say this too. Outside of Roger Goodell, right now in the NFL, Ryan Poles is arguably the most powerful man in the National Football League.
Easily. But 2 years now. 2 years.
I think that they're in such a unique situation and just accelerate this team into contention with having this overall pick. You saw the haul that they were able to get last year for the first overall pick. For a quarterback class with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, that was fine. Like CJ Stroud obviously looks like a stud. Bryce Young, God bless the Panthers. For both reasons. You saw what the Bears are able to get for DJ Moore. For the first overall pick. Right. Yeah. You get what I'm saying. And the rumor package right now is 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, another mid-round pick, and a potential starter already in the NFL.
Hello, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. I don't understand how you can pass up that opportunity, because seemingly Ryan Poles throughout this whole process has just been trying to acquire as much draft capital as possible. You've seen him hit in the mid rounds already so far. He's hit in the first round with Darnell Wright. I mean, just let the man cook. That's all I'll say. Let the man cook. Keep doing what you're doing, Ryan Poles, and you have a strong offseason here. You have a job for life, and I mean that. I think he will have a job for as long as he wants in the city of Chicago, and he will end. I'm not going to say that. Never mind. Nope, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to bite my tongue on that one.
Hey, I mean, because listen, if no matter what he does, whether he keeps Justin Fields or whether he trades or whatever it may be, it will be a deciding factor whether he will have this job for life. That's for sure.
No, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Ryan Poles has potential to be on Theo Epstein levels in the city of Chicago, and this is coming from a White Sox fan. If Ryan Poles is able to bring this team, I'm not even going to say a Super Bowl win. Although, I mean, yes, obviously. But
that's the standard. That's the standard.
But, like, you see how the National Football League as a whole, not just the city of Chicago, holds the 85 Bears in such high regards.
Mm-hmm.
You do that again, you're a king. It's not just a nickname anymore. You are a king.
Yep.
And
Absolutely right.
we're trending in the right direction as a franchise, Brandon. And that it feels like that for the first time in a couple. It started last year, but
And the difference is that we're talking about that in the middle of a season and not in the off season.
yes, because you've seen the
Big
improvement. You have seen the improvement, and granted, am I thrilled that it looks like Matt Eberflus is going to be back next year? No, I'm not. I mean,
Yes,
you've seen how bad he's been in the second half, or not the fourth quarter, more so than the second half as a whole. But he's built a culture, man.
yeah.
And if he just brings in a strong offensive coordinator, and I think that there's going to be plenty of guys out there who are going to want this job, or would be fools to not want this job, I should say.
I agree.
I think they'll be all right next year, and I bet. Let's say this: if you had to right now guess what the Bears over under win total will be preseason, what are you setting it at?
Next season?
Season.
Next season? Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've looked at the schedule or not next year.
Is it tough or is it easy?
Oh no, it's not tough.
Okay. So I'm leaning 9 or 10.
I think it's going to be at about 10 and a half.
I gotta check that out
So it is Arizona, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, LA, Seattle, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Detroit, Green Bay, Houston, Indy, Minnesota, San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, very favorable, and yeah, that's very favorable, man.
It's
At
gonna
least for where things stand now.
yeah, no, absolutely. So hopefully we're having a happy conversation about the Bears next week. A happy conversation about Justin Fields, and a happy conversation about the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh yeah.
But we have to talk about it. We haven't talked wrestling on here in probably a couple months. Most electrifying man in sports entertainment, Brandon. He's back. And it looks like Cody Rhodes is not going to be finishing his story anytime soon.
Listen,
Which I'm sure you're over the moon about.
I mean, because my thinking is, regardless of whether this match is actually going to be an Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania, the story is going to get told. However, I'm having a hard time believing that this is just going to be a Elimination Chamber match. Let me ask you a question, Ben. Who is WrestleMania for?
I know, yes, it's for the fans, but at the end of the day, it's about the money in the pocket.
No. What kind of fans?
The casuals.
There you go.
And that's
there
why,
you go.
And that's why it's gonna. That's why Cody Rhodes is not having a Universal Championship match at WrestleMania.
And here's the thing, too. I'm sorry, but because one thing is for certain is that they want to have Elimination Chamber be a big deal. Any PLE that's going to be overseas is a big deal, point blank. If you really, really want him to finish the story, you could push it. You could have an Elimination Chamber. I understand it's going to lose its luster if it's not at WrestleMania. But would you rather have Roman Reigns and The Rock fight at Elimination Chamber or have them fight at WrestleMania?
So I agree. It does not need a title. That match does not need a title. It can main event night 2 of WrestleMania. Title's for the head of the table. That's what that's about. That's not about that's not it's not about the Universal Championship. It's about who's the tribal chief.
Yeah.
And I don't see Roman's title like in an ideal world, yes, it should end. It could end in Elimination Chamber. I agree. That reign's not ending anywhere other than WrestleMania. It's not. It's not. I'm of that opinion. Maybe SummerSlam, but he's not losing that title in a multi-man match. I don't think, at least. And I've also seen it tossed around like that. Oh, it's going to end up being a fatal 4-way at the Rumble between Orton, LA Knight, Styles, and Roman, with Randy winning and then Cody finishing the story against Randy at WrestleMania storybook. But no, it's not. It's not. Whether you, as a fan, this isn't you at you directly, Brandon. This is whether you like Cody Rhodes or not, you cannot deny that I still personally think he should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns at this point in time. You look back at the promo, or not even the promo. Well, yeah, you could look at the promo. It was never I don't think it was about the title for Cody Rhodes and Roman after Paul Heyman said that Dusty told him Roman was the son he always wanted. That line will always stick out to me from that promo between Cody and Heyman. And you don't have that stare down with Cody and Roman on the ramp was that at SmackDown or was Raw?
It was SmackDown.
When he was walking out with Jay with the tag titles. You don't have that stare down, and I understand. And it sucks because yes, Roman Reigns and The Rock is the biggest match the WWE has been able to make since Cena Rock. Let's be real. It's by far the biggest match they've been able to make.
Absolutely.
That match is going to suck. Don't like that.
Probably.
It will not be good. I mean, I don't know the last time The Rock did any form of cardio. I thought the man was going to pass out on the mic after hitting Jinder with the spine buster and the people's elbow. Don't get me wrong. I'm really fucking excited for The Rock to be back. I mean, who isn't? I mean, you're lying to yourself if you're not.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. People say The Rock wouldn't. It's going to be a one-off match. That's all it's going to be. He is not going to win the title. It's not going to happen. And it's not like he's never wrestled at Elimination Chamber before.
That is true.
You know what I mean? I mean, look at him and Punk, the Chamber. And then you have, oh, okay, well, WWE won't do like once in a lifetime matches like that on big time, like blockbuster matches. What did Cena and Reigns have their first singles match on? No Mercy, Payback, something like that. You had the Shield triple threat match for the WWE title on, I believe, Payback again. I mean, they unified the World Heavyweight title and the WWE Championship at TLC. It's going to be a 70,000 person event in Australia. And I was reading something that apparently the Australian government was pushing heavily for The Rock to be featured on this show.
Which I understand.
It's such an intriguing story, and I have no idea the direction they're going to take it.
It's one of those where you're just like, man, there is no wrong decision here. That's one of the best things about it.
No, yes, absolutely.
But like, it's tough because I think you avoid this problem if Cody would have won last year. Possibly.
Still could have had you still could have had this match.
Yeah, well, yeah. I agree, but it's they're in a tough spot right now.
It's a good tough spot to be in, man.
That is true. That is true.
When is the last time WWE's main event scene has had this much buzz? I mean, let's be honest. It's looking like your two main events at WrestleMania are going to be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Think about it. You are appealing to the marks and the casuals. That you win. You literally win.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest, you have a third world title at this point in time on the WWE roster with Gunther and the IC title.
Yeah.
And everything I've been seeing looks like it's gonna be Gunther and Brock at Mania.
Oh boy. Oh man.
We thought last year's card was good, man. I mean, I know we are still 4 months away, 3 months away, whatever it is. But goddamn, these next few months are going to be incredible.
And the best thing is that I think we could say legitimately that WWE 2023 was the best year in WWE since 2016.
Yep, easily.
And the best easily. The best thing is they're building off of that. Mm-hmm. You start the year with
they're not slowing down.
Like you start the year with the Rock. You're rolling at that point. You played with house money at that point. I am curious to see what the announcement is going to be tomorrow. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I have
no idea. Not a clue.
Like, could it be like I don't think that they would announce a big show like this for something small. If we're like, I mean, like the first initial thought I had was, all right, maybe they're splitting the tag titles, right? But that doesn't warrant a fucking special on Peacock.
Not at all.
Is it going to be an announcement for where is it going to be an announcement for WrestleMania next year potentially going overseas to London?
Oh,
that's a thought that I had.
Oh, I mean, if anyone, John Cena pushed for it. I mean, he got a lot of pull.
I know the rumors out there are like, oh, Endeavor and bought TNA and WWE are going to merge. I don't buy that for a fucking
second. Yeah, they already dispelled that.
So I don't doubt there being a partnership potentially, especially with TNA's pay-per-view premier live events titled Worlds Collide or whatever it is. I mean, crossover there. Potentially have old TNA guys heading back. AJ Styles going back. You can have LA Knight pop up, and I don't know. That'd be funny if they had him go in as LA Knight. Obviously, use Eli Drake there, but there's a lot of interesting things going around, and yeah, I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to seeing whatever that announcement's going to be tomorrow. And I'm sure wrestling fans are going to react in a very calm, collective manner, right? And
the wrestling community, they're the most calmest people on the planet. Of course they are.
About whatever it is.
They're going to react. It's going to be so civil that I mean, it's the wrestling. They're the most polite people you will ever meet. Everyone's going to be calm and fine about whatever's going to happen.
Oh God. Yeah, so I mean, my final prediction is that it's a WrestleMania announcement. That's my final prediction though for what that is.
I am owning a prediction because I did not give a prediction on Washington and Michigan, so I'm going to say that there will be some type of partnership tomorrow that they're going to announce.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they didn't formally announce the All Japan one, so I could see it being that, and then some. Okay, yeah, no, I think you are going to be correct.
We'll see. I'm curious of what the partnership is and how much I'm going to care about it, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, but yeah, exciting times, Brandon. It's gonna be Very interesting to see how this shakes up with The Rock. When's the next time we're going to see The Rock? I mean, I know he said this is just the start or whatever he said, and more to come. More to come.
Can't wait.
But with that being said, that's going to wrap this week's episode of the Goonery. We appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next week.